Chapter 1: The Vanishing Passenger. In November 2003, a woman stepped out of her apartment building in New York City and was captured on a security camera at a nearby store. She was seen browsing briefly, paid for nothing, and walked back out onto the street. That was the last confirmed sighting of Sneha and Philip, a 34-year-old doctor. The following morning, her husband returned home from a work trip to find her gone. Her purse was still there. Her passport was still there. Her keys were on the counter. Nothing had been packed. There was no note. Investigators spent years working the case. Her husband was initially considered a suspect, taken to trial, and ultimately acquitted. Surveillance footage was analyzed frame by frame. Her medical license, her credit cards, her phone, all went completely dark. The moment she walked out of that store, no withdrawal. No trace. He disappeared on September 10, 2001. The following morning was September 11. When authorities later compiled the list of victims from the World Trade Center attacks, her name was added to it, not because there was evidence she was there. A court later declared her legally dead. Her husband has maintained she vanished voluntarily. Nobody has ever been able to prove either version of events. Chapter 2: The Istal Woman. On November 29, 1970, a man hiking with his two daughters in a remote valley outside Bergen, Norway, came across something in the rocks. It was a body, badly burned, lying face up among the stones. Around it were an empty bottle of liquor, several sleeping pill containers, and a passport. Norwegian police were called immediately, and what followed was one of the most exhaustive investigations the country had ever conducted. The passport was fake. Every label had been carefully removed from every piece of clothing she was wearing. Her fingerprints matched no records anywhere in Europe. Her teeth matched no dental records on file. In her abandoned luggage, recovered from a locker at the Bergen train station, investigators found 14 different wigs, multiple sets of glasses, and a coded notebook filled with entries that cryptographers spent months trying to break. She had checked into hotels across Norway under at least 8 different names. Witnesses described her as speaking several languages fluently, switching between them depending on who she was speaking to. Nobody came forward to identify her. No government claimed her. The Norwegian police officially listed her death as suicide. Many of the investigators who worked the case privately disagreed. She has never been identified. Investigators gave her a name for the purpose of the case file. They called her the Istal Woman. It is the only name she has. Chapter 3: Lars Mittank. In July 2014, a 28-year-old German man named Lars Mittank was on holiday in Bulgaria with a group of friends. Near the end of the trip, he got into a fight outside a fast food restaurant and suffered a minor ear injury. His doctor told him he could not fly until it healed and advised him not to take certain medications. His friends flew home without him and he checked into a hotel alone to wait. Then his behavior changed completely. He called his mother and told her not to trust anyone, that he was in danger, and that men were trying to kill him. He told her he needed to get out. The following morning, security footage from Varna airport captured him sitting in a waiting area, then suddenly standing, leaving his bags behind, vaulting over a security fence, and sprinting across the airfield into a wooded area beyond the perimeter. A workman saw him run past and tried to ask if he was all right. Mittank did not stop. He has never been seen since. His bank account has not been touched. His phone went dark that morning. Investigators found no evidence of anyone following him. His family and the German authorities have spent years searching with no result. The leading theory is that the medication or the ear injury caused a sudden psychological episode. What happened to him after he crossed that fence remains completely unknown. Chapter 4: The Springfield Three. On the night of June 6, 1992, in Springfield, Missouri, two 18-year-old women named Susie Streeter and Stacy McCall attended their high school graduation party. They had originally planned to stay at a friend's house afterward but changed their minds late in the evening and went instead to Susie's mother's home. Cheryl Levitt, Susie's mother, was already there. 3 people were in that house by the early hours of June 7. By the following morning, all three were gone. The doors were unlocked, purses, car keys, and cigarettes were still inside. The dog was still there. A broken globe on the front porch had been swept into a neat pile, suggesting someone had taken a moment to tidy it. There was no sign of a struggle inside the house. No bodies have ever been found. No credible witnesses have ever come forward. The case generated thousands of tips over the following decades, several of which led investigators to specific properties that were searched and found to contain nothing. A man named Robert Craig Cox publicly claimed in 1992 that the women were dead and would never be found, but refused to say anything further and was never charged. Investigators have never been able to build a case. 30 years later, all three remain officially listed as missing. There is no leading theory, there is no prime suspect.